Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's 8/20/8/19. Well, getting towards the end of the month. Labor Day just around the corner. Hope you've got some great plans for it, and we've got great plans. Just email us, kl@kerrylutz.com, with any questions, comments, feedback. So the Democratic field is narrowing. We're going to be down to 10 on the next debate stage. I just got an email from Marianne Williamson saying that she's like a bonsai tree, and maybe that razor has gotten a little too close to her brain when they're trimming it. I'm not quite sure what's going on with her, but David Horowitz is with us, frontpagemag.com. You can always find his work there. And David, this field, this Democratic purported candidate field is shrinking. Is it going to shrink down to nothing?
Could be. What do you got? You've got Joe Biden, who's a political whore, who will say anything to appease the left-wingers who are making all the action in the Democratic Party. Then you have a series of communists, from Elizabeth Warren to Bernie Sanders, lifelong communist, proposing schemes that the Democratic constituents don't support. There was a poll with only 22% of Democrats approve of Medicare for all, Medicare for all.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess, and this is just a guess, is that the Democrats, that none of them will get it.
Killary?
And that none of them will get enough of a majority to get the nomination. And the Democratic Party will pull one of its usual fast ones. I don't know if you remember, there was a senator named Torricelli.
Yeah, Bob Torricelli, yeah.
Indicted and convicted, and he was running. He was running for I don't know, it was his second or his 10th term in the Senate. Mm-hmm. And they pulled him at the last minute and put 80-year-old Lautenberg in, who had been a senator, and he won.
I remember that well.
Yeah. Or, of course, Hillary hasn't retired herself.
You think she's really up for another go-round, another bout with the
big
Donald?
Question is whether Moochelle Obama is.
You think Michelle Obama is even considering it? She hated every day she was first lady. I don't believe she really wants a return trip.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I don't think the Democrats have a candidate that they can run their party so far. They have this, not the whole party, but they have such a significant wing of the party that's so far to the left. These racists and terror supporters. Mm-hmm. I call them the hateful four, or the terror caucus in the House. I mean, these are people who are working with Hamas, terrorist organization, and Iran, and they hate America, and they hate white people, and they pull the race card every time. Oh, they're attacking us because we're women of color.
Right.
What a joke. The only reason they haven't been expelled from the Congress is because they're women of color.
Yeah, so true. Well, it's interesting because Nancy Pelosi had that sit down with AOC a couple of weeks ago, and interesting things happened thereafter. Right away, her chief of staff and her other aide quit. They were forced to step down for some shady campaign dealings. Then all of this stuff has been coming out on Ilhan Omar. Forget about the fact that she married her brother.
They corrupt. They look. They're black, so they get away with murder, and that. I mean, they think it's going to go on forever.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party is full that way too. It isn't going on forever. People are fed up.
Yeah.
And,
it's a joke.
They just. People like Pelosi. I mean, they're bad people, but she's very smart politically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so long that they're going to be intimidated by their parties left, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
The odd thing is the left is strong enough to prevent. There are Democrats that could give Trump a run like Bloomberg.
Yeah.
But he can't run because he's white and he's rich.
He's a billionaire, a white billionaire.
Kind of funny. I think Steyer, he can't win either for the same reason.
Yeah, Steyer, he's kind of a joke.
He can have all the money in the world, but it's obvious.
Well, bigoted
people.
Yeah, they shut him out. They shut him out of tonight's debate.
And they're not up for sale.
Yeah.
There was a really good film called The Lone Good Friday with Bob Hoskins. And he's a kind of English Mafia guy, and he gets this vision of holding the Olympics in England on the waterfront. And he negotiates a deal with the American Mafia. And while he's away, the waterfront starts blowing up. And it's because his guys stole money from the Irish Republican Army. They're the ideologues and the fanatics. And in the end, he tries to buy them off.
Yeah.
But they don't. They're not business people like the Mafia. They're driven by ideology.
Yep. And that's what we got here.
People really underestimate the power of ideas. They just do. And President Trump, I know he's just establishing a negotiating position, but when he thinks that he can snooker the Iranians into behaving, he doesn't understand. They're religious fanatics. They're not going to be practical.
Yeah, it's true. Well, he doesn't really think that.
That's why they have to kill their enemies.
Yeah, he's dealt with dishonest, sleazy types that are not true to their word.
I'm sure he knows exactly who they are.
He knows who they are. But he has to give them enough rope to hang themselves, which is just what he's done with the Democrats, right? He's given them enough rope, and now they're hanging themselves.
What do you mean, giving them enough rope, the Democrats?
Just letting them march down the Russian conspiracy path, all these things, and eventually it comes out, and the truth comes out, and then they're looking foolish. And what did they do for the past 2 years other than talk about Russia?
Well, all they did is attempt to sabotage an American president.
Yeah, it didn't work. He's still doing what he set out to do.
It caused us a lot of damage. I don't know why people don't mention it enough. But it undermines America vis-a-vis China, by made them unable to deal with Putin.
Yeah.
Who is, the major player, a major player in the North Korea crisis, the Venezuelan crisis, and the Middle East crisis. So, actually, what the Democrats did was they did exactly what they said Putin was trying to do. They divided the country and paralyzed it to some extent.
Yep, no doubt this is true. Well, so where is this all heading, David? I mean, they have to put up a candidate. Is this going to be McGovern Redux, McGovern Part 2?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has an excellent shareholder base with Ross Beatty owning 20%, insiders 5%, and Resource Capital Funds 8%. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
I don't know what they're going to put up. I think the Democrats are so fed up with Hillary that she can't be the candidate, but I would be surprised if she doesn't make a play for it.
Yeah.
They have a huge problem.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not going to solve it for them.
Well, it's really not solvable because they've got all of these factions who are as fanatical as the next, and then you've got the business wing.
Oh, and they've covered for the racists in their party and the anti-Semitic Jew haters. This Tlaib woman is a Muslim Brotherhood. They funded her before she got in Congress, they still fund her. Yeah. They raise money for the Muslim Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's horrible. Yeah.
It's like having a little Nazi caucus.
Yeah.
Which is what they are. I mean, they're backing organizations that want to exterminate the Jews. Mm-hmm. And that when Hitler was around, they were supporting him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's called useful idiots, right?
I think they're worse than that.
Worse? Worse than useful idiots?
They're part. Look, Omar and Tlaib are part of the terrorist network. You don't get invited to do a fundraiser for CARE, which is a Hamas creation.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of them. You just don't say it publicly.
Yeah, well.
And, their trip was organized by Hanan Ashrawi.
I know.
To Israel. And Trump was exactly right. Mm-hmm. Democrats, Jewish Democrats in particular, Jews who vote for the Democratic Party, who are supporting Tlaib, are disloyal to the Jews, not to Israel. I mean, every Jew, myself included, is a potential target of elimination by these people.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, well,
and I don't see any strong voices in the Democratic Party now, who will stand up and, for what's right. I mean, Joe Manchin, but he's a dino, a Democrat in name only.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things we're just going to have to watch it play out, have fun laughing, because this is some of the greatest comedy ever created on the screen, on the little screen, and on the web. Yeah. I mean, these people can't get elected dog catcher, as my parents used to say, would have said in the past.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just,
Did you see this idiot professor? He's a Duke, I think he's a law professor, who said on CNN that Trump had killed more people than Hitler, Stalin, and Mao. Now, they killed about 210 million people. And so how does he get this? Because he took us out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Hey, well, I just had somebody on. He's the originator of Bernie or Bust. Talk about fanatics. And the only issue that he cares about is climate change, and that the planet is going to go extinct. He's not at all concerned about the demise of Western civilization, David, No,
because they want to kill Western civilization. Mm-hmm. Far from being concerned, they're out to destroy it. They want a tribalist world where, your race is the most important thing about you, and where white people are evil and all the rest of the world, people of color, they're victims.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that the Democrats are expert at creating, is the permanent victim class that is in constant need of government handouts, subsidies, and largesse. And they've done a masterful job since FDR. They've kept this thing going. And it feels like we're getting closer and closer to the end of it, though, that the country just can't afford it anymore, and that the culture has become so eroded and so many problems that we've really got to get past this.
Yeah. Well, I think we live in bad times.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, Elijah Cummings finally got called out by President Trump. That was a long time. Great. Yeah, a long time in coming.
Why is there crime out of control in the inner cities? It's because of corrupt black and Democratic politicians like Elijah Cummings. They steal the money that's sent to the inner city. They have these policies of catch and release. They paddle criminals, the Democrats. And then they have this welfare system that they created, which drives fathers out of the home and forces poor blacks, some whites, and Hispanics into lifetimes of poverty. Democratic Party is an evil party, and it's an anti-American party. Are you familiar with the 1619 Project?
I've been reading about it. So that's the whole thing, to rewrite American history and
to rewrite it to make white people bad and black people. Yeah, what is called the founding of America in 1619, when the first slaves arrived. But those slaves were enslaved like all slaves on this continent by black Africans and sold at auctions to Englishmen. There was no America in 1619.
Yeah. Hey, and what about the fact that
America is the greatest gift given to black people in 3,000 years? Because America was created on a revolutionary proposition that all men are created equal and endowed with an alienable right by their creator, liberty.
Yeah, well, many thousands of white people came to the United States as indentured servants, and that is pretty close to slavery. You got to work for 5 or 10 years at backbreaking labor, and then
it's kind of like if you're taxed at a 50% rate after you're working for nothing for the government. Because it's not as bad as slavery, but it's close.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that being an indentured servant was not much better than being a slave. You were like a temporary slave. You were leased, put it that way. You were leased, and then at the end of the lease, you got your freedom. But you were still a slavery. You didn't have freedom for that initial 5.
But in America was created in 1776, 1787. Immediately, the North began freeing all their slaves. I think there were 500,000 free blacks in the North.
Yeah.
By in the beginning of the 19th century.
Absolutely.
But of course, the South was had an economy built on plantation slavery.
Candace Owens said it best.
So that had to be awarded. It's 50,000 mainly white males who had never owned slaves gave their lives to free the slaves. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And the left needs to obliterate it.
And don't forget, Candace Owens said it best. No Republican in the country ever owned a slave, right?
No Republican. Right. It was an anti-slavery party.
Exactly. So only Democrats own slaves. And they were, we know what happened. Anyway, David, we always appreciate you coming on. Frontpagemag.com. That's Front Page Magazine.
Yeah, I've got a book out called Dark Agenda. It's about the war to destroy Christian America.
Okay. Well, we can't forget that. And
all right. Thanks for having me, Kerry. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, David. You be well. We'll talk to you soon. Dark Agenda. Go check it out. We'll have a link in the show notes so you can pick up the book. David, always a pleasure. Thanks.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.